Hello. I wonder if that shows up. Recording in progress. I wonder if people hear that.
I
Probably
don't
not.
know. I don't
I
know.
don't
It
know.
always takes me back every time I hear it. I'm like,
They used to not do that, but
I
whatever.
know.
Zoom changes all the time. Okay. I hear we have Krista McAuliffe available. Hi, Krista, and hello, Eric. I love you.
Eric's like, I love you, Mom.
Yeah.
And yeah, Erik brought Krista here about 10 minutes ago. So I've
Well,
had a little chance to get comfortable with her energy. She
okay.
tells me that she's been popping in and out for the last week.
Hmm.
So she says that I've been a little preoccupied, so I haven't noticed. And it's funny because she's giving me sensations in the side of my head. And I was awake early this morning and I was just kind of, my son was up early, so I wasn't really doing my normal thing. And she kept trying to get my attention. She's just
Oh,
showing me this morning how she was trying to let me know she was around. So
what
she
can
says
you
hi.
describe
It's
her
really
energy?
nice to be here. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She actually feels like she has a real sense of humor. She feels very light. I can see her. It's kind of like little flashes, like I'm seeing little daydreams. I can see she's got pants on, like I don't know why I want to say slacks, but
Who's the
slacks.
flax anymore?
I know, that's why I'm kind of laughing because that's how
Yeah.
she's giving it to me like slacks.
Okay.
She's got a little button-up shirt on, and it looks like a little vest. It's a bit flouncy, but a vest, and she looks really neat and tidy, but she's very open. She just feels very open and very light and very comfortable,
Good.
very loving, very loving.
All right. Well, I've got, if you don't mind, a bunch of from the community questions that they posed for us to answer together, for you to answer anyway. So can we start?
Yes, she says, I think this is great. She says, thanks for having me. She says that she wants to let you know that she adores your son. She
Oh,
says, she's gotten to know Erik. She says in our Earth terms, she's known him for quite a while now.
yeah.
And she just wants to let you know, she says, if I were to write a report card for Erik, he would get an A plus plus plus. As she says,
Oh,
he's someone to be very proud of. He works very hard,
yeah. I'm
very
very
hard.
proud of him. Very proud. All right. Well, the first question somebody asks, I would love to hear Krista describe her exhilaration at takeoff.
Mm.
Were you scared at first? I mean, just describe all the emotions, but right before and during.
She says, it's almost like she didn't expect it because she says there was a bit of a stop and go. She says it was like they were getting ready to take off and then they said, okay, wait. They're
Oh,
getting ready to take off, and then, okay, wait. So she says she started to settle into the idea that maybe we wouldn't be taking off. And then when it actually happened, she says it was a mixture of excitement. She says a little bit of fear, but she says she would describe it as, when you're standing in line at the most magnificent looking roller coaster
oh,
ever, and the dips are absolutely huge and amazing, and you're in that line and you're watching it, and you hear the people scream and the rush of the wind as that goes by. And she says, and you finally get in it and you get buckled in, you go, oh my god, why am I doing this? She goes, I
oh,
had that
I've been there
brief
before.
moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. If the explosion had not happened, how long was your mission supposed to be in space?
She says actually not that long. Um, so she's giving me like in days,
Okay.
so maybe about a week or so.
All right. I want to hear about the training measures that you had to go to. What did it entail, and was it really hard on your body?
Um, she says that it was a lot of like trying to work with balance of the body. So she says was like going through different types of acrobat, she calls it, to make sure that our body was prepared for different situations. She said that there were like situational training in case this happens or in case that happens. And
Yeah.
she also said it was preparation to get our body balanced so we knew what to expect, not only
Yeah.
in space, but she says many things that one would not think of. Um, like we don't realize, she says, what an astronaut or what we have to go through to be able to have this experience. She says that it's not that it was overly hard on the body. She actually found the challenge exciting. And she says that it was tiring only because there was a lot of information to
Oh,
be taken in as well. But she was in fairly good shape, she says. And
good.
so she handled it very well. The one thing that she comments on that she found a little bit challenging was that some of the, she says the um, acts of, she's bringing up claustrophobia,
Oh, okay.
like being strapped in, or she shows like being dark, going dark, and some of that she found a little bit challenging. But
Oh, I can imagine.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, I think for me, there are three events in history that I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing. That is Kennedy's assassination and 9/11 and the Challenger explosion. So
yeah.
what do you say to that? I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. A lot of people have, well, people my age anyway. Um, yeah.
Well, she said there was a lot of, and the events that you've described, she says they've all created a great deal of change, and they left a real imprint on the world, on the collective. She's showing me, and she's saying to me that this, she was sharing some of this with me last week, and me not really realizing that it was her communicating, but I remember being grade 2 and sitting in my lunchroom. And here we are in Canada, and they had one of those big TVs on the roller
Yeah.
stands, and they rolled it in the lunchroom, and we were all watching this teacher go up in space, and we saw it explode. And I remember the lunchroom lady started to cry and shut the TV off.
Oh, wow.
And I can recall sitting there as a child not understanding what happened and why the lunch lady was crying.
Yeah.
And so she just is saying that for so many, especially because there were so many students and
Yeah.
families, for so many, not only was it a tragedy, but it was also one of their first experiences with how quickly life can change, how
Yeah.
quickly life can be taken away. And she says that that changed a lot of people's perspectives on their own life at
Yeah.
that time as well.
Wow. I know from experience. I woke
Mm,
up
mhm.
October 6th, not expecting things
Yes.
to end up to,
Yes. She says you know that well.
yeah. Was there any warnings? I mean, when did the crew, or and you, of course, as part of the crew, realize that something might, if anything, did you have any warning, any problems?
She says no. She says that there were some, okay, so she says she was not aware of some of the issues, but I guess there was some question to um temperature, or to because
Okay.
she keeps saying problems at lift off, or problems with timing of liftoff, and she keeps saying the temperature was not normal for the location or for that time of year.
Hmm.
And she just says that there were those type of problems, but there were deeper issues that were being spoken of outside of, she's calling it the pit, meaning the crew. The crew wasn't
Yeah.
fully aware of what was going on. She says before the actual explosion happened, she says it was very quick. So there was very little time. It was almost like she's telling me like getting an instruction, getting a quick instruction to hold on, or to do something, to brace something,
Okay.
that they had an idea that something was happening very quickly.
Okay. They say at the time of the launch, many things were going wrong, like the temperatures were reaching all-time record lows, as you indicated, or the door of the Challenger wouldn't close. the closeout crew decided to drill it out, but they couldn't find a drill. Then the drill they managed to find fails. Then a second drill can't complete the job. With the hacksaw, they finally cut the bolt off. Were all these signs from the spirit world to block the launch in order to save the lives of the crew?
She says that there was a choice that was made.
Okay.
And so she says, if you're asking me if this could have been prevented, well, she says there was a choice that was made that day.
Yeah.
And she says it was a choice that was made with great resistance.
I don't understand why they would want to risk such an important mission when things were going wrong around the time of the launch, especially when students all over the world were watching.
She says money.
Was there any, like even a split second indication that an explosion was about to happen? Or did it just happen with no warning for you guys?
She said that no, it wasn't. Did we have a feeling something was wrong? Yes. Did we know that an explosion was about to happen? No. And she says, in all accounts, everything felt like there was always a backup, that there was going to be some. So it felt like, okay, something might happen. We're coming back down, not we're about to explode.
Okay.
But she says it was very quick.
At the time of the explosion, did you have any time to realize what was happening, or did it just happen so fast? And did you feel any pain, or was it so sudden that you didn't feel anything? So I guess talk about the moment, the time of the actual explosion.
She says that the last conscious memory of being in the body was hearing instruction of holding on, brace yourself. She says that within, she calls them seconds, and she's giving, she wants to point to the amount of seconds that it was after liftoff, because she says there's something about that number, about the number of the amount of seconds. But she says that it was like she went throttling out of the body, and they continued forward into space. She says that there wasn't realization right away that something had happened. There was no pain.
Oh, good. Oh, is it true that the crew cabin in which you and the other astronauts were in was actually ejected during the explosion, but NASA failed to install parachutes in the crew cabin, which would have allowed them to fall safely to ground? Instead, the crew cabin, maybe just free, fell to the ground, which was actually what killed you and the crew, and not the explosion, or was it the explosion?
She uses the word obliterated. So
okay.
Explosion.
So was the crew still conscious at all? Any of the crew conscious after the explosion?
She says no.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was obliterated, there was no. That's almost, of course, that's better. Is it true that the astronauts of the Challenger were removed by extraterrestrials before it exploded?
She says in a way there is truth to that, yes. Because they, as a crew, she says,
Yeah.
they were present upon our entry into, she says, the afterlife.
Oh.
But our personal awareness, she says it wasn't made with them. She says it became a very personal journey for each one of us, although we were still feeling that collectiveness of being traveling into space. That was still aware, but she says that connecting with ETs was something that did take place, yes.
But after you were in the afterlife, not before?
Yes.
Okay. Was it, this is interesting, was it the Mars Germans that destroyed the shuttle in response to the US and Russia stealing the memory swiping device? This was mentioned by a 20 and back whistleblower from the Gaia Disclosure series. 20 and back.
Well, the way she's answering it is she says that there are many things that lie beneath the surface of this event. It's not just one thing. And so she says, I will say that there is some truth to that.
Oh, wow. Dang. Okay. I thought it was just the O-rings or some seals.
Yes, she says yes. She's acknowledging more than one thing, is how
Oh,
she's going to say.
was there sabotage with the O-rings, with the seal or whatever it was? Or just a human
She
error?
says it was more of human error. But the way she's showing it to me is she's showing me telephones, like the old rotary phones,
Oh, yeah.
showing telephones being picked up and things being pushed through and happening
Oh,
um,
things
because
were
of
rushed.
other connections, like things are being rushed or when they were being told, because she says she's holding up the phone like you can't do this, you can't send them up. We say no, we suggest no, and there's another phone going on saying just go ahead and do it, and she's saying that there was some push, and she says there's financial purpose to it.
Oh, that's terrible. Was there one person that pretty much was the responsible for saying, yeah, go ahead and do it? Let's take a chance on these people's lives.
She says at the end of the day, yes, but that's not quite how they were thinking of it.
All right. Okay. All right. What was your cross? We kind of answered a little bit of this. You're crossing over life. Did you realize immediately that you were dead? I mean, what did you think? We interviewed you a long time ago, just for the, I don't even know if we were YouTubing back then, but, and you were pulled out by guardian angels or somebody, some angelic beings out of your body. I don't know if that, is that right? Or can you tell us a little bit more detail as to your actual transition?
And she says that as we had the transition, she says, I can only speak upon mine. I
Okay.
can speak upon my experience.
Oh, yeah.
And she says that my focus was still in my seat. My focus was still continuing on my journey. And she says, if you can imagine, it was as if my awareness became more and more clear that I had left the body. As that was happening, she says, there are guardians. She's calling them angelic beings, but she's referring to them more like, um, she says, a celestial being, but she shows them as not as like an angel. They just look like very tall light beings with long arms, and she's
Okay.
having like um she says not being pulled out, but it's like a magnet. She said it was like a magnet being drawn forward. She says this was our introduction to this next chapter. However, she says, although one part of me was crossing over, there was another part of me that returned to be with my family,
Okay.
to comfort my family.
Yeah. Okay.
She says that she's also showing me like looking back on Earth.
Yeah.
She shows me being in the stars. She says
Oh,
that her journey was not like walking through the door of light. It was more like being in space and being
of
weightless.
course. Yeah. Did you go back to Earth and comfort your students?
Yes, I did, she said.
I felt it. Was it, were you, was this a planned exit point in your life, Krista?
Yes, she says, um, you know, we have these many purposes um, because we don't always just have one purpose that we come to life with. And
Yeah.
the same is with our exit points.
Mm.
And so there were, and she says, I'll explain it as when we have free will and we make decisions in our life, we start to line up with certain choices and exit points and plans. And so she says it could have been someone else. It could have been someone else. She says there were different souls that may have taken this job.
Okay.
And she says, but it was my soul that ended up lining up to take this position. And that was an exit point for me. Now, had that not have been my exit point, there would have been other opportunities down the road.
Okay. Boy, I can imagine the people that were trying to get that position, but you were chosen. They must feel pretty lucky. Oh my God. Oh, was this a group contract or was this just yours?
This was a group contract, yes.
Okay. So what do you think your main life purpose was?
Well, she says the structure of my soul is a teacher and a leader.
Mm.
Um, and she says that I came in to be able to teach from a place of not walking with fear in front of me, but to show that we can walk in front of fear, and to have fear is okay, as to feel fear is human. But we must walk with that behind us and not walk hand in hand or allow it to lead us. And so I showed that with having courage of stepping forward in something I felt very passionate about.
Yeah.
And I did that with many things in my life. In discovery, I came into this world not only as a teacher, but with the purpose of being a forever student.
Mm. Were you always, I mean, when did you start having an interest in space and space exploration, et cetera? Were you a child? And did
She says
anybody influence you in that direction?
she says that the great beyond was something that always triggered her imagination. She says that she would dream about it. She would question it. She always knew that there was something out there. She knew that there was more.
Mm.
Um, she talks about having books, reading, and she says that there was a past life that influenced her. Um,
I was gonna ask you that, so we
mhm,
might as well go ahead and jump to that now.
because she says that there was such a interest in the stars,
Mm.
and she had a past life. She's seeing as a as a philosopher
Mm.
and as an astronomer, like a historian with the stars, and she's showing me back in Egypt.
Mm.
And she says that this is something that is very much part of her soul structure. And so this was ingrained in her soul
Mm.
to have this curiosity.
Did you ever want to be were you a male or female? Probably male in that life.
She says, actually, I was female.
Oh, wow. Did you ever want to be an astronaut in this life when you were a kid or teen or young adult or, well, you were a young adult.
Oh, she goes, well, did I ever really take it seriously? Not really.
Okay.
I did contemplate it, but I didn't really take it seriously until things started to come to fruition. When I first heard the announcement
Mm.
that something was coming down the pipe, I got very excited. And then when I heard that it was a teacher they were looking for, I got very excited.
Oh, wow. Do you have any alien, are you like an alien hybrid, any alien DNA in you or any galactic lives, anything
Oh,
like that?
yes. Yes, she says, of course.
Really
Yes,
tell me about that.
very much so. She says, I have a great deal of Palladian.
Oh, I knew it.
Um, she
Yeah.
says that there is, she says, a great part of my soul exists as a Palladian, as a scientist.
Oh, interesting. All right, looking back, this is backtracking a little bit, but somebody asked, did you have a gut feeling or premonition not to go on this particular space shuttle trip?
She says that what I felt was I did feel a sense of wavering fear. But again, I had talked to myself and really felt very safe. I felt that the way things were built and the amount of people that were involved in such a production,
Yeah.
that there really was nothing to be afraid of. So I felt that what I was really feeling was more of a just a sense of this is new. And I
Yeah.
was really putting that beside me. I did have a very good intuition.
Mm.
And so looking back from this perspective, I would say that there were some nudges there, but
Mm.
I overcame that quite quickly with rational thought.
Yeah, like, oh, there's so many backup systems and all that. And these guys are geniuses. They know what they're doing, that kind of thing.
Yes,
And this is probably just natural. Anybody in my position would feel a little dread.
yes, very much.
Okay. Was this event supposed to help or hurt space exploration?
Well, she says definitely help because this would be something that was studied, spoken about. She says that there were procedures that were changed. She talks about building a new shuttle. Um, she also says that there was new opportunity that civilians would come again, or civilians would go into space again.
Mhm.
Um, she says that there was, we'll say at first, so much regret and so much discomfort and grief,
Yeah.
also so much embarrassment
And guilt.
and guilt.
Yeah.
She says that those things had to be worked through
That's true.
before the benefits would come ahead.
All right. So what do you, from your viewpoint there, in a sort of an all-knowing state, what is the future of space exploration? When do you think we will, for example, be able to, like, I don't know, through wormholes or whatever, beam me up, Scotty, be able to bam, just be able to bend time space fabric so that we can be in another planet, another galaxy, like within a day or seconds or something like that? I don't know how to formulate that question, but you probably
Well,
know.
she answers and says this next 30, 60 to 100 years
Okay.
is going to be very new. She says that it is very, very exciting from our perspective. She says that I work very closely with many on Earth, not only involved in space exploration,
Mm.
but I work with others that are bringing forth very new information, information that is not yet in the current minds of most of society.
Mm.
And in this next 60-year period, we're going to learn so much as a society, and that is going to open up new doorways to adventure.
Ooh. So in my lifetime, assuming I don't get run over by a bus tomorrow, what great thing is going to happen in space? I mean, there's free will and stuff, but at least in this quantum probability.
Well, let's put it this way. What many deem as time travel will become something that is very tangible.
Interesting. All right. When will mass disclosure that, hey, aliens are among us and there are other species in the universe, intelligent life, when will that be common knowledge?
As a collective, of course, we know that there is interactions taking place each day and have for some time, but as a collective with mass disclosure, the one thing that we'll say holds back the understanding of extraterrestrial life, or you could call them your ancestors,
Oh, yeah,
is that there has to be a maturity that has reached the mass collective.
of course.
The percentage has to be able to handle um, not only the information coming forward, but also the vibrational quality of this connection.
Okay.
And so this is something that is being dealt with on a daily basis, that many of our ancestors around us are consistently working with us. And she says, I don't like to use the word test, but are testing to see what we are ready for.
Yeah. Stick the
But
toe in the water.
if we were to give you an idea of how long that would be, let's say in the next 10 years is very possible.
Wow. All right. What was your reaction to the realization of the existence of vastness of so many other life forms in the universe? Did it, were you awed? Were you scared? Were you shocked? I mean, tell me your reaction.
Definitely not scared. In fact, absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Absolutely beautiful. It was uh, an experience of a lifetime, and that's how exactly I will describe that exit of my human body.
mm.
The experience of a lifetime.
You just did a different kind of exploration, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you encounter any mm, non-benevolent alien beings?
It was more that I was aware.
Okay.
I had the knowledge, and to be frank, there really wasn't any desire to explore that. The
Okay.
knowledge was sufficient.
Okay. What do you feel about the current emphasis on space tourism for the elite? And what good will come of these privately owned companies? Great question.
Well, that's going to change. Um, right now, it's something that there's a reason why it's happening the way that it is. And it will change where um, the average person will have the opportunity to go up into space. With the elite right now, um, my thoughts on that has to do more with do I drive the fastest car?
Yeah.
Do I have the biggest house? And that's kind of where that mindset stands right now.
Oh, I can see that.
However, there is purpose to that, and that will lead to more discovery, and that will lead to changes in our collective. And so it all has its purpose.
Okay. Well, I mean, when do you think the average Joe Blow will be able to go into space? And why would they anyway? I mean, unless there's some beautiful tropical beach on the moon or something, I just can't imagine why.
Well, it's not necessarily going to be in the way that we're all thinking.
Okay.
And so remember, consciousness is how we travel.
Yeah,
Consciousness is how we really travel.
true.
And so going up into space may be something very different than the way we've always known it.
Oh, maybe it's a way to get to Europe faster. Just go into space and whoosh, come back down and here I am at Heathrow. Okay. What were we to learn from the Challenger disaster?
Hmm. Well, there were many things, depending on what angle you were looking at things, but we'll first say from the collective.
Okay.
As a collective, many saw it as failure, but it was more like courage.
Yeah.
It was being able to teach courage, being able to teach a path is still a path, regardless how long a life is. A
Yeah.
life can still be well lived, and that this still is the experience of a lifetime. It
Mm,
also taught grief, as there was so much loss that was experienced.
mm,
And this created a common question, as I said before, as to how does this feel in my life? And what does this mean for my life? And how quickly could my life change? It also brought up questions of should we be in space? Should we be doing these things? we started to ask questions of our own existence.
That's true. Did you meet up with your fellow astronauts?
Oh, yes, I work with them today.
Oh, that's awesome. If given a choice, would you change anything? If you can go back.
I would have had an opportunity to be able to tell my children how much I love them
Yeah.
and to be able to have uh, more time with them,
Yeah.
with my parents, with my husband.
Mm.
I would have liked to have been able to give them a sense of peace, although they know that I left doing something that was the greatest opportunity of my life,
Are
something
they,
that I was very excited and happy about.
mm. Are they doing okay?
They are. I'm very proud of my children.
Oh, good.
I'm very proud of what my husband has done in his life.
Mm.
I have my parents with me in spirit.
Oh, that's nice. Uh, what do you think about the exploration of Mars and people really wanting to go live there? I mean, how do you see space exploration in the future for humans? I mean, in the relatively near future, say in the next 60 years, 50, 60 years.
Mars is a very challenging place to be able to create habitat on,
Mm.
to be able to visit. Um, there may be some exploration to be able to view it in some experiences,
Mm.
but to create a place to land, to stay,
Yeah.
to make something of, that is a great challenge.
Well, what about, will we ever find another planet where we actually can survive and populate?
Yes, but not quite in the way that we may think. Yes.
Well, what way? And how
Well,
long in the future is that?
w- this will be the way that it looks right now.
Yeah.
This will be a 50-year period.
A what?
A 50-year
Okay.
period.
Okay.
Uh, this will have to do with progress as concerned with time travel.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that probably coattails into disclosure where we can finally agree that aliens are among us and they can help us with that technology in order to get to and find a habitable planet and get to it, uh, not what for in 1,000 years of travel, but in much less.
Yes, with the technology that most of the public is aware of right now, it will not be done with the technology that's at hand right now.
Yeah, no. How many light years away is the closest habitable planet?
She's giving me six, like 60.
Okay. Okay, 60 light years out.
Mhm.
Is space and the planets in our solar system just like NASA and of course other astronomers in general say they are, or are they different than what we've been told?
They're fairly accurate to what we've been told. There are some things that have been masked. So what you view in pictures and what you have seen is not exactly what has been reported.
Can you share one, or are we not supposed to know now?
What I can share is that there is evidence of other beings that has been recorded, things that are not being disclosed that may be edited out or
Okay.
reproduced without certain images that have been captured.
Is there any particular, can you name one planet or one area where, or moon, I don't know, where that is the case?
Well, the moon would be one of them.
Okay. All right. Is is Pluto a planet or not a planet? That's not one of the questions I thought I'd ask.
And she says, yes, it is a planet.
Okay.
Says
I think
yes.
that's what the consensus is now.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Do you have any messages to all of us who were 10 years old? This person obviously was, and unfortunately witnessed all of you guys die.
Well, you saw a moment in history.
Mm.
And truly, like many moments that are impressed upon your awareness, that it's a moment, like we had said in the beginning of our conversation today, that it's a moment that will never be forgotten, like many moments in history.
Yeah.
And for what it was, for what it is, may this conversation today help show you that this was merely a new beginning, an
Oh,
ending of sorts, but a new beginning.
I like that.
For that's what death really is
Yeah.
it really isn't an ending. It's the ending of a cycle. It's the ending of an experience.
Mm.
But like everything, when we wake up, every night that we go to sleep, we have death. Every morning that we wake up, we have life.
Oh, that's fascinating. Of course, you were a teacher during your time here on Earth. Now that you're in spirit, what is maybe that's it, the most important lesson you can share with your students or us as the human students?
Well, of course, with renewal, um, and also understanding the history that you create
Yeah.
is the one that you intuit from inside you. And so to take the opportunity to be that forever student, to
Yes.
to not rely on everything that is told to you from the
Mm.
outside, but to truly be curious. Never stop being curious, never stop focusing on the lighter side of things, but to absolutely always be curious. Because when you follow your intuition and you continue to ask questions, you will then build a history. You will then build information. And that is what the life experience is about. It's not about following everybody else's idea of what it is, but this time that you're in right now is about creating and creating from the experience that you draw inside.
Wow. All right. So that's one of the many things you were here to teach. Were you here to learn anything this incarnation?
Yes, I was here to learn that every path is unique.
Mm.
I was here to learn that about judgment.
Mm.
There were different experiences throughout my life
Mm.
that I saw the world from different perspectives.
Yeah. Okay. Have you reincarnated or do you plan to anytime soon? If not,
I I will, but not quite yet.
okay. All right. I guess just a couple more questions. You want to share anything with us that no one else knows about except for you? It could be something fun. It doesn't have to be.
I would have loved to be a lounge singer.
Oh my God. Did you have a good voice?
I think so.
Oh, wow. How about that? That's cute. All right. Anything else? Any messages to humanity? Final messages for humanity or advice? Anything you want to, any other message you want to share?
Have fun.
Oh, I like that.
Short and simple. Have fun.
I like that. All right, Michelle, Eric, do you guys want to ask any questions of Krista before we close?
I kept getting I just want to ask her, I kept getting flashes of like Greece. And I just wonder what that was, what she was showing me. And she says, she's pointing back to when we were speaking about another lifetime.
Yeah.
She says that she also had a lifetime as a Greek philosopher. And she
Oh, I
said
thought you
that
meant Greece, like, oh, she had a grease fire or something. Oh,
no, like a Greek, and she
I
says that
gotcha.
Erik shared that lifetime. Erik was in that lifetime.
Oh, that is so cool. All right, I guess we will close. Eric, thank you so much. Krista, it was an honor to speak with you. Michelle, thank you. You guys check her out at thehealing-art.com, and also check out atlantascalar.com if you want scalar energy healing. Michelle's also a wonderful healer, by the way.
Yeah.
And chillingeric.com, and YouTube's for both. So please share, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do whatever you can if you enjoyed this. All right. Thank you, everyone. Love you all.
Erik says, love you, Mom. Love you,
Love you
everybody.
more. Bye.
Bye.